The oldest tools ever found are 3.3 million years old, discovered in Kenya. These weren't made by Homo sapiens or even Homo habilis. Instead, they were shaped by earlier hominins, like Australopithecus. The tools were simple: flakes, cores, hammerstones, nothing fancy. Yet they changed everything, allowing access to marrow, cutting, and defense. Archaeologists believe these tools were made with skill, not accidents. That means learning, practice, and repetition, possibly starting young. Adults may have made the first cuts, but children were never far behind. Watching tool making sparked interest in the young, a new type of play. They probably handled broken flakes or small stones, mimicking adults. Some tools found were unusually small, possibly shaped for tiny hands. Could this be evidence of child-sized tools or beginner experiments? We may never know for sure, but signs are pointing that way. Children learn by touching, testing, and copying what they see. So it's likely that ancient kids played with tools before mastering them. Just like modern kids play with toy kitchen sets or plastic hammers, play wasn't wasteful. It was the beginning of skill development. It planted seeds of innovation in the youngest minds. Even the simplest rock could become a lesson or a game, and in that playful process, a species began to evolve. Ancient children spent every day surrounded by tool-using adults. They watched mothers crack bones or sharpen sticks by the fire. They saw fathers scrape hides or dig for roots using stones. These moments weren't formal lessons but powerful demonstrations. Children are natural imitators. They do what they see, without instruction. In the wild, this mimicry was more than fun, it was survival. A child who mimicked tool use became skilled faster than others. They probably started with sticks or dull stones, safe, yet functional. Breaking twigs, digging dirt, or clacking rocks became early games. Adults likely allowed this, knowing it prepared kids for the future. Even chimpanzee infants today play with tools before real use, so ancient hominin children likely followed the same pattern. They watched first, then played, then slowly learned mastery. They didn't need toys, they had the raw materials of the earth. The forest floor was their playground, and rocks were their puzzles. Even a sharp shell could teach lessons in caution and curiosity. Through touch and repetition, brains rewired for problem solving. That's how play became a training ground for survival. And from that, the roots of early education were born. Long before schools, there was the world, and play was the teacher. Play wasn't just entertainment, it shaped the evolving hominin brain. By playing with tools, kids developed motor skills and hand strength. Their fingers learned grip, pressure, and movement through repetition. Their brains processed cause and effect, shock hits, bone breaks. They learned attention, timing, and patience without being taught. Each failed strike became a lesson, and each success built confidence. This trial and error play created neural pathways for complex thinking. Just like modern toddlers, they explored the world by manipulating it. Tool play may have stimulated growth in parts of the brain, especially areas responsible for planning, memory, and decision. Without language, their learning was sensory, physical, and instinctive, but it laid the groundwork for symbolic thought and logic. That's why tool play was a step toward problem solving and creativity. A child poking a termite mound with a stick wasn't just curious. They were inventing, discovering how the world could be shaped. Over generations, this playful learning pushed evolution forward. Brains got bigger, hands became more precise, attention spans lengthened. From play emerged planning, and from planning came progress. So even a child playing with rocks helped build the human future. Without play, there may never have been progress at all. Were there toys in the Stone Age? Not as we know them, but yes, objects that were safe, small, and engaging likely became playful. Colorful stones, smooth bones, feathers, or shells may have fascinated kids. Sticks with odd shapes or animal bones became experimental tools. Some may have been used for pretend play, imitating adults. Children likely had favorite rocks or bones they carried everywhere. They might bang them together, dig in the soil, or toss them. These weren't toys from shops, but they sparked imagination. A curved stick could be a pretend spear, a shell, a digging spoon. Play helped them understand the world before real danger entered. Handling bones taught about animal anatomy and strength. Stacking stones tested balance, vision, and motor control. Throwing pebbles built aim and timing skills used in hunting. Even if unintentional, their games built physical readiness. Some sites show signs of repeated tool use in small clusters. Could they be early play zones for curious young hands? We may never know for sure, but the possibility is thrilling. Even today, children turn everyday objects into play. That instinct is ancient, possibly millions of years old. In those first toys, the human spirit of play began to shine. Children didn't play alone. Early human life was social by nature. They likely played in small groups, copying each other's actions. Games might include stick fights, hide and seek, or stone rolling. This play developed communication, coordination, and competition. Without language, they used gestures, grunts, and facial signals. Play taught them to read others, anticipate moves, and react. They developed emotional intelligence through joy, anger, or sharing. If one child discovered a cool rock trick, others copied it. Social play spread knowledge faster than individual learning. They challenged each other, tried new things, and learned limits. Group play built trust and taught early cooperation strategies. It also created rivalries, sparking the seeds of leadership. Some children became natural problem solvers, others imitators. Group play revealed strengths and trained future roles in the tribe. Even conflict taught lessons: how to fight, resolve, or avoid. These experiences prepared them for adult responsibilities. In playful chaos, structure slowly emerged in the mind. Society was forming not by rules, but through rough and tumble games, and it all began in the laughter and learning of ancient children. Tools were shared, copied, and slowly mastered together. Playing with tools was fun, but also risky in a wild world. Sharp stones could cut skin, dropped rocks could injure toes. Children likely had minor injuries, scratches, bruises, or worse. But these risks taught caution, balance, and strength. Parents or elders probably watched closely, setting loose boundaries. They may have removed dangerous tools or shown safer techniques. Kids learned not only by doing but also by getting hurt. Pain was a brutal but effective teacher in the prehistoric world. Still, the group didn't stop them from exploring. It was necessary. Survival meant being tough, adaptable, and brave from an early age. Even animal bones carried wrist-sharp edges or bacteria. Yet every object handled built wisdom through experience. Kids learned what not to touch, when to stop, and how to adjust. Mistakes shaped memory, and memory built survival instincts. The line between toy and tool was thin but critical. By learning limits young, they grew stronger and smarter. Risky play built resilience, courage, and resource. It prepared them for a life where hesitation could mean death. And so, danger was part of the curriculum of play. Each scar told a story and built a smarter future adult. Did adults teach kids to use tools, or did kids figure it out? The truth likely lies in between, a mix of guidance and exploration. Adults didn't give formal lessons, but they showed by doing. Children watched, mimicked, failed, and tried again. Adults may have corrected mistakes with gestures or grunts, but most learning was self-driven, playful trial and error. Children discovered new ways to use sticks or break stones. Sometimes they invented solutions adults hadn't noticed. Innovation wasn't limited to grown-ups. Young minds were creative. This mix of copying and creating drove early human evolution. Every new generation added something new to the tool tradition. Playful minds turned repetition into invention, and invention into culture. Over time, tool use became more advanced and specialized. This process, generation to generation, required curious children. Without their experiments, progress may have stopped. They were not passive learners. They were adults gave the foundation, but kids took it further. And from those playful discoveries, culture and technology emerged. So yes, ancient kids learned, but they also led. Their play was the lab where innovation was born. The games of ancient children echo in our modern world today. Play remains how we learn best, through curiosity, trial, and repetition. Our earliest tools became smartphones, vehicles, and robots. But it all began with a child banging stones under an African sky. Even now, children use blocks, sticks, or mud to create. This ancient instinct remains unchanged after millions of years. Through play, we build muscles, ideas, and relationships. Schools may be new, but learning through play is prehistoric. The curiosity of children shaped how humans evolved and thrived. Tool play sped up brain growth, hand precision, and social bonding. Modern education systems still rely on play-based methods in early years. It's how the brain forms deep connections and long-term memory. So when a child plays, they follow a sacred evolutionary path. They reenact a journey started by tiny hands in ancient dirt. Those ancient kids were the world's first learners and testers. They shaped not just stone but the human future itself. Their small actions had giant consequences in history's timeline. In every playful child today, their spirit lives on, and through their curiosity, humanity continues to evolve. Because every great idea once started as a game. 3.3 million years ago, life was short, wild, and uncertain. But even then, children found time to explore, laugh, and learn. Play wasn't luxury, it was a vital survival strategy. It made children smarter, faster, and better prepared for danger. In a world with no safety nets, play built resilience and skill. Tiny hands gripped stones that shaped the future of mankind. Every cracked bone, every flipped shell, carried silent meaning. Those ancient games were the blueprint of human development. From these early experiments came language, culture, and thought. Our ancestors may not have understood it, but play was sacred. It was instinctive, powerful, and deeply necessary for survival. Even the harshest world allowed room for joy and discovery, because that joy drove curiosity, and curiosity drove progress. Tools didn't just shape bones, they shaped minds, and the smallest hands often held the biggest potential. So when we ask if ancient kids played with tools, the answer is yes. And through their play, they chipped away the darkness of ignorance, until one day, millions of years later, we'd build civilizations, all because a child once played in the dust with a rock, and that child's wonder became humanity's greatest gift.